Hello, children. I think you're going through whatever lessons you're getting from all the teachers, so that's wonderful. We are trying our level best to give you as much material as we can. Right. So today I'll take a class. This class is regarding the third chapter of the Contemporary World book, which is titled as The Alternative Centers of Power. Now, this is the fourth chapter actually in the book. The third chapter, to the best of my knowledge, has been deleted this year. And that chapter was US hegemony. And how, after the disintegration of USSR, or Soviet Union, how USA became the sole leader of the world. So nobody is there to confront USA. It is the undisputed leader of the world. So, but the point is that do we have to follow everything that US says? Don't we have any voice of our own? Isn't there any power or force or country or group that can challenge US? And this is what would be discussed in this chapter, which I'll be taking today. Alternative centers of power. Uh, the political scientists, the international relations and diplomatic relations, and the global experts have come up with some groups or countries that can pose a challenge to US hegemony, US one countryship, US unipolar world. It can challenge the US supremacy. So the first that your book deals is the European Union. So I'll be discussing European Union with you right away. At the end of 1945, it was the last months of 1945, the Second World War had ended. The Allied powers, although had won, that is United States of America, France, England, uh, Soviet Union, and other countries against Germany, Italy, and Japan, the Axis powers. But although they had won the war, the Allies, but Britain, that is United Kingdom, France, and all the entire Europe was devastated economically, monetarily, socially, politically. It was in a lot of turmoil. USA stood neutral till the Pearl Harbor incidents, and it did not lose much. So it was a par in 1945 as well. So US made a plan that is called Marshall Plan to give loans, aid, arms, all the support, economic, political, trade, to the European countries, the allied, ex-allied countries, so that they could establish themselves well. Now, this made the European countries like United Kingdom and France heavily dependent upon United States of America. In 1949, Council of Europe was created. Council of Europe was a group of European countries that were seeking help from from United States of America for their economic and monetary reconstruction that the countries that had been broken in the Second World War. Then, and European Economic Community was formed in 1952, I think. That was also for the same purpose. And these are small bodies that the European countries came together and formed these bodies so that they could together act as a federation and develop themselves. But these bodies were bifurcated bodies. They were not very instrumental in the development. Now, in 1991, Soviet Union disintegrated. You have already done that in the last chapter. And a new organization that was the sum of all the previous organizations of Europe was formed, and that we know as today as well the European Union, 1992. Initially, it was a group of some countries, some more developed countries than the others. Then later, Eastern European countries, etc., joined European Union. European Union is a economic, political, diplomatic, social body that where all the countries which are member listen to it. Like, right. So it is also called a supranational organization. What is the meaning of supranational? Supranational is not supernational. Supranational means that EU, EU's decision, Union's decision has to be respected and adhered to by all the member countries. They might have their individual policies as well. They may say that, but foreign relations, economic relations, monetary relations, they have to listen to EU. So supranational means European Union, the flag of European Union is above the flag of other countries, right? So it is a supranational organization. Now, how European Union is a challenge to US hegemony. Uh, Let me give some examples. And one more thing, this is a very statistical chapter. So in book, you will get all the statistics. So I need not go into the detail of the statistics. You will already get it in the book, right? So I just want to make the things clear so that when you're reading the book, when you're flipping the pages of the book, you're understanding what you're going through. And it is not, we are not making a castle in the air, right? So economic front. European Union is the second largest economy after US. In 2016, I presume, 2016 or 17, its GDP, gross domestic product, was $17 trillion. $17 trillion. It is less than USA, but very close to USA. So in the coming years, in the coming arena of the world politics, EU may challenge US in economic terms. Next, two members of European Union are the permanent members of the UNSC, United Nations Security Council. United Nations Security Council is the main body that looks after the peace and security and law and order of the world. And there are five permanent members which have got veto power. That is the power to say no. And the world has to listen to them. And two countries, that is United Kingdom and France, are the members of UNSC. This is a very, very big thing. So alongside USA, Russia and China, France and United Kingdom, excuse me, are also the members of UNSC. Thirdly, we can say that, see, your book was, you might be using 2014, 2013, 2015 book, year published book. So at that time, Brexit didn't come. So you can include England. I want to clear that in EU, and you may not include. But my today's lecture is based on a book, 2016 book, that is available right now. 18 book hasn't struck the market till yet. So I'll be taking Britain, that is United Kingdom, as a member of EU. So Britain and France are nuclear capable countries, and together they have more than 550 warheads. That is, warhead means missiles and bombs, intermediate ballistic missiles, intercontinental ballistic missiles. The difference is 5,000 kilometers and above range are called intercontinental ballistic missiles, and lesser are called intermediate ballistic missiles, right? The next can be, now we are coming to criticism. Now EU has faced criticism amongst its own members. Like some countries did not agree with the others in the meeting. Some proposals or the orders that were put forward by EU were not accepted by many countries, members of EU. So internal troubles are there, internal conflicts are there, right? Like there was a Maastricht Treaty, like making euro the currency of Europe, and that interfered in the political and foreign affairs of the countries. So countries like Scandinavian countries like Sweden and Denmark did not sign that treaty. So there are internal conflicts, but when the question will be asked that which is the first organization or country or part that can challenge the hegemony of US, you will write it's EU. Right. Now we are coming to the second one. The second one is ASEAN. ASEAN is Association of Southeast Asian Nations. Southeast Asia comprises of all the countries that are on the east of India, starting from Myanmar and going to, say, Philippines. So, like, all those countries are called ASEAN countries. So, ASEAN was a body which was started initially by 5 countries. Those 5 countries, some of them were Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia. And later 5 more countries joined, like Myanmar, like Laos and Cambodia. So today ASEAN is a group of 10 countries. Now ASEAN is not a supranational body. It is a loose organization of all the 10 countries who help each other. And it's not a military alliance. It's a completely socio-economic alliance. And all of them are peaceful countries which want to develop themselves with the help of each other. Right, because two contrast type of countries are there, like Laos, like Indonesia, developing countries, like Singapore, developed country. So all of them come together and act. Now, ASEAN was formed in the Bangkok Declaration, 5 countries, and then 5 countries joined them. And ASEAN has 3 main pillars. The first pillar, or the first body of ASEAN is ASEAN Security Committee. The second pillar is Economic Committee, and the third is Socio-Cultural Committee that respectively take care of the 3 dimensions: security, economic, monetary, trade, and the socio-cultural arenas of all the 10 countries. Right. In 1994, an organization of ASEAN, a body of ASEAN, a offshoot of ASEAN was also created that is called ASEAN Regional Forum, and that was specifically created to look into the foreign policies of all the 10 countries so that they adhere to each other and deal the world as one federation, as one unit, so that any country like China or, say, India or, say, United States of America isn't able to put down any country of ASEAN, any lesser developed country like the Philippines, like Myanmar, right? So this was called ASEAN Regional Forum. ASEAN has signed many FTAs. FTA means free trade alliances with many countries. India has a FTA with ASEAN, and they all have FTAs amongst each other. So there is a free trade alliance or association. So they are able to trade amongst themselves and with some outside countries of ASEAN without any export or import or trade barrier, duties or trade barrier. So this is ASEAN. Now we are coming to the third challenger after EU and ASEAN, which is a very, very important contender. And right now, it is in news. And the entire world is somewhat suffering because of that country. I know you can guess that. I'm talking of none other but China. So China got independence from capitalism. Mao Zedong made China a communist country. It got rid of the capitalist system in 1949, right? And from 1949 to mid-70s, it became a closed economy. Means everything that China had to produce, they had to produce within themselves. China had no foreign relation with any country. It was making everything on its own, dependent on its own natural resources and human resources. It was a closed system, China. So it was not a liberal economy. It was not an international economy. So without any relations with other countries. Today, China is the fastest growing economy of the world. And experts are saying by 2040, it would be surpassing superseding US in GDP and economic growth. So this is what is very, very important topic, that China will exceed USA in 2040. Excuse me. Uh, in 1972, Zhou Enlai was the president of China, and he for the first time tried to liberalize the Chinese economy and started diplomatic relations with China. The US president, the Secretary of State traveled to China, and they started making relations with the other countries. Uh, Zhou Enlai brought 4 pointers change, reformation in China. That these four sectors shall be reformed. I'm talking about mid-1970s. One, agriculture. Two, industries. Three, science. And fourth, technology. So these four sectors had to be developed. Right. China. In 1978, China accepted, adopted, and enacted a new policy called the open door policy. Like US, open door means we welcome your products, the world, and in reciprocation, you should also welcome our products. So that meant after 1978, China entered into an international openness, a trade relationship, monetary relationship, diplomatic relationship with the world as a whole. It became a part of the world community. So from a closed economy, it became an open economy in 1978. It joined WTO, World Trade Organization, in 2001. It is a member of WTO today. Excuse me. China took a very, very cautious approach. It did not go haphazard. That's why it's still saved and developing at a large stage. China privatized its agriculture in 1998. Right. And after many years, started opening one, two, three, four, initially four SEZs. SEZ means Special Economic Zones, where the foreign companies can come, invest in FDI, foreign direct investment, and slowly China saw what changes are coming, and slowly it extended its number of SEZ. So it took a very cautious approach in opening up its economy. It did not do like Soviet Union. Like you have already have been told that it opened its economy, perestroika and glasnost, and people could not take it and it broke down, disintegrated. So China had a very cautious approach, and that's why China is still a unified country. Now China is not free of problems. The economic growth is very impressive, 5 to 6% even today. But the population rate is also growing. Unemployment is there. Socio-cultural problems are there. It's a communist country, single-party state. No freedom of religion, no freedom of thought, expression. So these small problems are there, but China has the capability to take on US as the third alternative. Right. Now the next point is India-China relations. Now I won't go into detail. I'll just tell you some vital points because this will be dealing in detail in the other book as well, in the Indian book, the other book that you have. But I'll give you some details about it. In 1950, China annexed Tibet. That was an independent country, and it played a very important role because it is a country in middle India and China and acts as a buffer zone. Buffer zone means a small country that lies in between two big countries, like between Russia and Germany lies Poland. So Poland has a lot of importance, right? So this is called a buffer state. So when in 1950 China annexed Tibet, India wasn't happy. And soon Tibet was a Buddhist country. Soon the head of the Buddhism, Dalai Lama, traveled to India, ran to India, and as a refugee and is still there in Dharamshala, McLeodganj in Himachal Pradesh, today also. Right. So, and India gave refuge to Dalai Lama, and China thought that India is giving support to anti-Chinese person, Dalai Lama. So India just did what any country would do in international relations. So India-China's relation started getting deteriorated after that. In 1962, China attacked India, and a very humiliating defeat for India. China forces came up till Assam in India, even till Darjeeling, and in Eastern Front and Western Front they reach half of the Kashmir, XII, they took, and that made India undergo a very humiliating defeat. So India-China's relations were cut down after that. In 1970s, to be precise, in 1976, India-China relations resumed. Uh, Indian leaders like Atal Bihari Vajpayee and later Rajiv Gandhi visited China. They resumed their relationship, trade relationship, socio-economic relationship as neighbors. It happened after 1976. In 1981, they had border talks. They started to sign treaties regarding respecting the borderline in Arunachal Pradesh and Sikkim and in Jammu and Kashmir. Right. So these were some events that happened. Now both the countries want to play, India and China, global role in the world politics, and they are also part of a group called Brics, BRICS. Brics is a group of 5 countries. B is for Brazil, R is for Russia, I is for India, C is for China, S is for South Africa. So these 5 countries, India and China, are playing a very vital role in being the voice of developing countries. So they have come together in that respect as well. Now they are having trade, and their trade has really improved. The statistics you will get in the book. Though there were some tensions in 1998 after the Pokhran nuclear tests of India, but India has always said that it always holds nuclear tests for self-defense and not for any creating any problem or turmoil in the region or the country or the world. So it is not aimed against China. India has clarified that. Now, in the older edition book, you will get one box at the end, and that box is a tentative 4th contender of U.S. hegemony, U.S. supremacy, that is Japan. But I was going through the newer edition of the book. It also gives one more country along with Japan, and there are 2 boxes. One box, small box, is on Japan, and the other small box is on South Korea. So these 2 also, in future, if not near, in distant future, may be the challenges to the U.S. hegemony. Right. So this is your chapter, Alternative Centers of Power, statistical issues you will, and the knowledge you will get from the book. So my first and foremost request is that listen to this video, see this video not once but twice or thrice, and the second time kindly open and flip the pages of the book alongside, because I've maintained the chronological order of the book, the headings of the book, so you can go through as this lecture is going on. Right, and then have a feel of the chapter, and that will give you a very good hold on the chapter after listening to this video and after flipping the pages of your 4th chapter. 3rd is deleted. To the best of my knowledge, I'll check again and let you know. You can also check. That is Alternative Centers of Power. So we have got, just to end the session, first contender to U.S. hegemony or supremacy is EU. Second is Asean. Third is China. Fourth is, means these 3 are the pivotal ones, primary. Secondary are Japan and South Korea. So this completes your 3rd chapter in your course, number 4 in your book. alternative centers of power. Right? So please keep learning and doubt. I'm planning to take a doubt session somewhere in the future in the quick way. So I'll let you know. Right? So God bless you. Have a good time at home. Enjoy. Stop going out, but don't stop learning. So God bless you. Bye.